The current situation at FC Barcelona has become extremely worrying. Injuries are piling up at an alarming rate, and once again the club seems to be trapped in a spiral of uncertainty that directly threatens its ambitions both in La Liga and on the European stage. Hansi Flick, who was supposed to embody renewal and tactical discipline, now faces a real puzzle. How can he keep an injury-ravaged team competitive?
The situation is alarming. Without Ferran Torres, Lewandowski, Rafinha, or Dani Olmo, Barca loses almost its entire offensive arsenal. 4 starters capable of creating, scoring, or making the difference at any moment.
Behind them, the next generation still lacks maturity. Lamine Yamal is incredibly talented, but he cannot single-handedly carry an attack deprived of its leaders. As for Marcus Rashford, even though he will be available, he is only just coming back from a period of fatigue and adaptation, raising doubts about his full effectiveness. These absences are likely to have a direct impact on the upcoming matches. In La Liga, teams like Girona, Villarreal, and Real Sociedad are capable of exploiting even the slightest weakness. With a decimated attack, Barca could quickly drop precious points in the title race. On the European stage, the situation is even more concerning. A lack of depth and attacking efficiency at such a decisive moment could destroy the club's chances of performing well in the Champions League. Hansi Flick, experienced as he is, will need to come up with creative solutions, perhaps focusing on a more compact style of play, emphasizing possession and defensive discipline, or giving a chance to young players from La Masia such as Marc Guiu, Pau Victor, or Tony Fernandes. Yet even with those adjustments, the gap in quality between starters and substitutes remains too wide to compete with Europe's top teams. The danger for Barcelona is that this wave of injuries could break the team's collective momentum and confidence. The club had made a strong start to the season, showing visible progress in pressing, fluidity, and offensive cohesion.
But all that work now risks being undone by this physical crisis. If nothing changes soon, Barca could face a disastrous October and November, lost points, a fatigued squad, and overexposed youngsters, all of which could damage the club's ambitions early in the season.
The medical and technical staff must act quickly to prevent a prolonged crisis, because at this rate, Barcelona risks losing not only matches, but its entire season.
FC Barcelona is once again going through a difficult period offensively, and the bad news keeps piling up for Hansi Flick. As La Liga resumes after the international break, the Catalan club must again cope with a series of major absences that are disrupting the German coach's plans. Besides Ferran Torres, Barca will also have to do without Robert Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Dani Olmo, all unavailable for the highly anticipated clash against Girona, a side that has steadily grown in stature in recent seasons. The club's statement released on Friday confirmed what many had feared: Ferran Torres will not take part. The Spanish forward left the national team during the international break due to muscle discomfort. The diagnosis was clear: an overload of the left hamstring muscles. As a precaution, he will not be called up for the Girona match. A wise yet frustrating decision, given how impressive Torres had been at the start of the season, even surpassing Lewandowski in the attacking hierarchy. His absence is a major blow, as he was one of the few consistent reference points in an already weakened attack. Lewandowski, still recovering, will also be unavailable, as will Rafinha and Dani Olmo, two essential profiles in Flick's system. These combined absences leave Barca with a severely depleted attack, where improvisation and tactical adjustments will be unavoidable. In this difficult context, Hansi Flick will have to innovate. Lamine Yamal, the young Catalan prodigy, could get some minutes but is not expected to start. The German coach prefers to protect his young gem to avoid injury after his efforts with the national team. Marcus Rashford, the marquee summer signing, should be available and will likely play a key role in the attack. Beyond the stars, Flick will need to turn to his bench. Youngsters such as Barc or Tony Fernandes may be called upon to step up, while Fermin Lopez could be moved to a wide position to fill the gaps. This unprecedented setup will require every player to show creativity, intensity, and unity to maintain Barca's expected level of play.
The German coach, fully aware of the stakes, knows that this Catalan derby against Girona will be far from easy. Michael's team is full of confidence, and Barcelona, deprived of most of its offensive leaders, will need to show real character to get a result. Squad depth, youth, and tactical management will be decisive. Amid physical uncertainties and strategic dilemmas, Barca approaches this match in a tense atmosphere where every decision by Flick will be under scrutiny. One thing is certain: the German manager must once again prove his ability to adapt to circumstances, in a context where injuries have become an almost chronic problem for the Blaugrana. Beyond Ferran Torres, Barca still has to deal with the injuries of Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Dani Olmo for this La Liga clash. Lamine Yamal might get some minutes, but not from the start. Flick has few options left, though he can still count on Marcus Rashford. From there, he will have to turn to Bargy, Tony Fernandes, or another substitute, with Fermin Lopez likely to fill in on one side. The situation at FC Barcelona has reached a truly alarming stage. Injuries are multiplying at a worrying pace, and once again, the club finds itself trapped in a cloud of uncertainty that threatens both its La Liga campaign and its European ambitions. Hansi Flick, who was expected to bring structure, energy, and renewal to the team, is now facing one of his toughest challenges: how to keep Barcelona competitive with a squad decimated by injuries. The picture is bleak. With Ferran Torres, Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Dani Olmo all sidelined, Barca has lost nearly all of its attacking firepower, 4 key players who can create chances, score goals, and change the course of a game at any time. Behind them, the youth are talented but still raw. Lamine Yamal, despite his dazzling potential, cannot shoulder the entire offensive burden alone. Marcus Rashford, who should return for this match, remains a question mark as he continues to regain rhythm and sharpness. These absences could have serious consequences in the coming weeks. In La Liga, teams like Girona, Villarreal, and Real Sociedad have both the quality and confidence to punish any weakness. A weakened Barca could easily drop crucial points in the title race. On the European front, the situation looks even more dangerous. A thin and fragile attack could prove fatal in the Champions League, where the smallest detail makes all the difference. Hansi Flick must now think outside the box, perhaps by tightening his tactical setup, focusing more on control, defensive solidity, and quick transitions, or by placing his trust in some of La Masia's brightest prospects like Marc Guiu, Pau Victor, or Tony Fernandes. Yet, even with bold experiments, the gap in experience and maturity between starters and replacements remains huge, and it's hard to imagine Barca matching Europe's elite under such conditions. What's most worrying for Barcelona is the possible collapse of team spirit and confidence. The squad had started the season strongly, showing real progress in pressing, ball circulation, and attacking chemistry. But this injury crisis now threatens to undo all the progress. If things don't turn around soon, the club could be heading into a disastrous October and November, losing points, overworking young players, and running out of solutions before the halfway point of the season. Urgent action from both the medical staff and the coaching team is needed, because at this pace, Barca risks losing not only games, but its entire season. Once again, Barcelona faces a serious attacking crisis, and the setbacks keep coming for Hansi Flick. As La Liga resumes after the international break, the Catalans must once again cope with multiple key absences that completely disrupt the German coach's plans. Beyond Ferran Torres, Barca will also be without Robert Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Dani Olmo, all ruled out for the crucial clash with Girona, a team that has become one of the league's rising powers. The club's official statement on Friday confirmed what many feared: Ferran Torres will miss the match. The Spanish forward left the national team camp early due to muscle discomfort. Tests revealed an overload in his left hamstring, and as a precaution, he won't be in the squad. It's a logical but frustrating decision, as Torres had been one of Barca's most consistent and effective players since the start of the season, even surpassing Lewandowski in terms of influence in attack. His absence is a major blow, depriving Barcelona of one of its few stable attacking options. Lewandowski is still recovering, while Rafinha and Dani Olmo remain unavailable, both crucial players in Flick's tactical setup. The combined effect of these absences leaves Barca dangerously short in attack, forcing the coach to improvise and adjust on the fly. In these circumstances, Flick will have to get creative. Lamine Yamal, the teenage sensation, could get some minutes, though he's unlikely to start. The coach wants to protect his young prodigy after a busy spell with Spain. Marcus Rashford, the club's star summer signing, is expected to play a leading role, but he will need support. Flick may turn to youngsters like Bargy or Tony Fernandes, while Fermin Lopez could be pushed to the wing to help fill the gaps. It's an unusual and risky setup, but it's the only way to maintain some offensive structure. Each player will need to bring energy, imagination, and discipline to keep Barca's style alive. Flick knows that this Catalan derby against Girona will be anything but easy. Michael's team is confident and dangerous, while Barcelona, stripped of most of its leaders, will have to show grit and unity to pull through. Between tactical headaches, limited options, and physical doubts, the pressure on Flick is enormous. Every choice he makes will be scrutinized, but one thing is clear: he must once again prove his adaptability and leadership in a context where injuries have become an ongoing curse for Barcelona. Aside from Ferran Torres, the Catalans must still do without Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Dani Olmo. Lamine Yamal might get some time off the bench, but the main creative responsibility will likely fall to Marcus Rashford, supported by youngsters like Bargy, Tony Fernandes, or perhaps Fermin Lopez, repositioned on the flank. The challenge is huge, and Flick will need every ounce of ingenuity to keep Barca's flame burning. The situation at FC Barcelona has become deeply alarming, almost desperate. The club is sinking once again into a storm of uncertainty, and this time, the danger feels heavier, more real. Injuries are piling up one after another, tearing apart the very structure of the team. What was supposed to be a season of rebirth under Hansi Flick is slowly turning into a nightmare. The German coach, once hailed as a symbol of discipline and tactical renewal, now stands before an enormous challenge: how to keep Barca alive when almost every key piece of his attacking force is gone. The list of absentees is frightening. Ferran Torres, Lewandowski, Rafinha, Dani Olmo, 4 pillars of the attack, 4 essential engines of creativity and goals, all out at the same time. It's a disaster. Without them, Barcelona loses not just its scoring power, but its identity. The young replacements lack experience, rhythm, and maturity. Lamine Yamal is undoubtedly talented, but how can an 18-year-old carry the entire weight of the attack? Marcus Rashford, despite his return, still looks far from his best, and his physical condition remains uncertain. The fear grows with each match approaching. In La Liga, Girona, Villarreal, and Real Sociedad are lurking, teams in full confidence, ready to take advantage of the slightest weakness. With a broken attack and no clear solutions, Barca could quickly begin to collapse in the standings. Even more terrifying is the European front, where the Champions League waits for no one. Without depth, without sharpness, without leaders, Barcelona risks being humiliated on the continental stage. Hansi Flick must now perform a miracle. He'll need to reinvent his football, perhaps by abandoning his attacking ideals to focus on survival, tighter lines, slow build-up, and defensive discipline. He may have to rely on the kids from La Masia, Marc Guiu, Pau Victor, Toni Fernandes, but even that feels like gambling with fire. The difference between the starters and the reserves is simply too vast, and the club's margin for error is non-existent. There's a growing sense of panic within the fanbase. The beautiful start to the season, the promising signs of progress, all seem to be fading away under the weight of injuries. The team that once played with rhythm and unity now looks tired, fragile, and uncertain. If nothing changes soon, October and November could turn into months of suffering, dropped points, exhausted players, and a shattered morale. The situation has reached a critical point. The medical staff must act urgently, the coaching staff must adapt fast, or else Barca's entire project could collapse before the halfway mark of the season. The danger is no longer theoretical, it's real, immediate, and visible. At this pace, Barcelona isn't just risking defeats, it's risking its season, its confidence, even its future direction. And as if that weren't enough, the latest updates only make things worse. Ferran Torres has officially been ruled out, his left hamstring overworked. Lewandowski, still not fit. Rafinha, Dani Olmo, both unavailable. Flick is running out of options. Lamine Yamal might play a few minutes, but not from the start. Marcus Rashford will be forced to lead the line almost alone, still adapting and far from his peak form. The rest of the attack will have to be pieced together from youngsters like Bargi, Toni Fernandes, or a repositioned Fermin Lopez. It's a situation that borders on crisis. Every decision Flick makes now feels like a last resort. Every game could tilt Barca further toward chaos. The sense of control is slipping away, and with it, the optimism that have returned to Camp Nou. Barcelona is walking a thin line. One more injury, one more setback, and the entire structure could crumble. What was meant to be a season of hope now feels like a test of survival. The club is bleeding, the squad is fragile, and the future suddenly looks dark.